ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to the Joe Light Show.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Joe Light Show. I'm your host, obviously, Joe Light. This is my first look at the Week 13 slate. A little recap of Week 12. If you had Julio Jones, you were happy, very happy. He got you roughly about 50-something points. So I did pretty well last week. If you look back at my last video, you'll see the team that I used, which was pretty sufficient. I had Kamara, Fitzpatrick. You know, everybody pretty much hit value at their position or went over. Dion Lewis did well for me. I had him in the flex. My receivers were all volume guys. I had Robbie Anderson, who did really well. What else did I have? I had Jack Doyle, tight end, another volume guy. Landry kind of held up his end of the bargain. Well, anyway, that's last week. Let's get on to this week and some really good picks for you guys. We'll get right into it. So Week 13, this is my first look at the slate. So, I mean, my Friday, Saturday video might do some thinking and change a couple things, but probably not, because I typically like to stick with my first opinion, because usually that's the best opinion. So anyway, guys, we're going to start off at quarterback. Case Keenum at 6K against Atlanta's 21st ranked pass defense. I like him. For some reason, the Vikings are dying to get Teddy Bridgewater out there, but there's actually no reason. Case Keenum is a good lock for at least this week. 6K, not a bad price for him. Now you look down a little bit. You got Fitzpatrick going up against Green Bay in Green Bay. They have a 30th ranked pass defense. He's at 5.3K, so that's a pretty decent matchup for him. I mean, he did okay for me last week, so I don't see why he wouldn't be serviceable this week against a little bit of a softer secondary. And another guy, I like Huntley as well. He had a great showing against the Steelers defense, who I think they kind of had an off day, but regardless, whatever the case is, Huntley had a great day. I'm, very proud of him. I'm a Packer fan, so I'm happy with that game we had. I mean, unfortunately, we lost a couple. That helmet to helmet at the end of the game should have been called. That would have helped. But regardless, it is what it is. Had a good showing. Now, the guy that I'm actually going to take at quarterback this week, looking at this is my first look, but I'm going to plug in Josh McCown at 5.5K going up against Kansas City's 25th ranked pass defense. If you've been watching football recently, you've seen Kansas City ain't doing so good at all. They just lost to Buffalo, and it's kind of like, I don't know, just a disgraceful game. They both played terribly. I guess Buffalo played a little bit less terribly. But yeah, this week I'm going to lean against that Kansas City 25th ranked defense. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stack McCown with Robbie Anderson, and I'm going to see where that takes me. I've been leaning heavy on Robbie Anderson recently, because not only does he get you the volume, but he gets you some good yardage. He's just, once he gets open space, forget it. He's gone. He's really good in open space, and ain't too many targets out there. The Jets ain't got much going on, in the pass game, so that's their guy. Now moving on to the running back position, I really, really, really like the matchup Todd Gurley has. I mean, he's up higher on the pricing list. He's 8.2K at Arizona's 21st ranked rush defense, so I'm going to take Gurley. I'm going to plug him in. This is my first look at the slate, but I'm taking Gurley. I don't even have to look at anybody else right now. I know I like Gurley. Fournette, another guy you could take. I'll take Gurley over him, but Fournette going up against Indianapolis, 23rd ranked. He's 7,800. The thing about Fournette is if he don't break a long touchdown run, he's kind of, for that price, it's not worth it. Another guy I really, really like, Carlos Hyde. going up against Chicago. Now, Chicago, see, the thing about them is they're pretty decent against the pass. They just can't stop the run too well. Pretty much middle of the pack defense. He's only 5,900, so that's a very good play. I mean, I might be looking to plug him in a couple of my lineups. Both of the guys from New England. They're playing Buffalo. Buffalo's 30th ranked defense. Everybody's been leaning against Buffalo's rush defense. So I'm gonna look at Lewis 5.5K and Burkhead 5K. I'm actually gonna take Burkhead in this one because I mean you really can't go wrong with either one. I just like the fact that Burkhead is a little bit more implemented in the pass game, and I don't know, he just makes the most of all his plays. Don't get me wrong, I love Lewis too. I had him last week. He was serviceable, got me about 18. Another guy I like this week, Duke Johnson, 4,800. He's been, I guess, pretty steady in the pass game all year. I mean, he is in Cleveland, so there's not much going on in Cleveland this year, as we all know. But he is one of the few bright spots for Cleveland this year. Going up against the Chargers, 29th ranked defense up against the run. So definitely a great matchup at the price. It'll give you a little bit of wiggle room. You could pay up for some guys if you want. So definitely not a bad pick there. I also like Williams, 4,700 up against Tampa Bay. 18th ranked middle of the pack defense. But I really like the way Jamal Williams has been running recently. He's been trending upwards, that's for sure. Last game against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, who honestly I thought they were going to shut him down, but I'm happy they didn't. So I like him. I'm actually going to plug him in as a flex guy. So my running backs are going to be Gurley. I'm going to take Burkhead, and I'm plugging Jamal Williams in at the flex, actually. So I think he's a decent little different change. But you can even switch it around, put Burkhead at the flex. It's really whatever, however you're feeling. A few more guys I like in the wide receiver position now. I like Hopkins. Hopkins, 7,300 at Tennessee's 25th ranked pass defense. I know, you know, Tom Savage, nothing to write home about, but whatever. He's been peppering Hopkins all year since he's been in. So you gotta like Hopkins. 7,300. He's gonna hit value. Probably even get you a touchdown at least. Devin Funchess has been pretty good. I actually took him last week. He was a little bit over value there, so I like him. I like him again this week. I am going to plug him in. So Devin Funchess is at the 6.8K mark against New Orleans, 17th ranked. Another guy I mentioned before, I'm actually going to stack McCown and Anderson, 63K, 6.3K. Sorry, guys, not 63,000. That would be absurd. Against, you know, Kansas City's 31st. Against the wide receiver at his position. So, I mean, Robbie Anderson's kind of like a no-brainer. He's, every week I've been plugging him in. Every week he's been, you know, on the lower end of the pay spectrum, and he's been doing his thing. Now, Marquise Lee, another guy I like, 5,200. Going up against Indianapolis, 23rd ranked defense. I mean, Blake Bortles and Marquise Lee could be a decent little stack this week, but I really, honestly, I'm not trying to lean on Blake Bortles anymore. Who knows? It's a week-to-week basis in this league, but I don't know. He hasn't impressed me enough to actually gamble on him and put him in my lineup. I know I love paying down for quarterbacks, but I'm not paying that. I'm not paying down that far to lose value. So I'm going to stick with the steady McCown. He'll probably be owned a little bit, but whatever. Another guy I like who probably will be a low ownership pick, Deshaun Jackson, going up against Green Bay. He's only 4.7K. They're 29th ranked against the wide receiver number 2 position. I really like Deshaun Jackson here. We all seen last week, Martavis Bryant kind of had a decent game against him, so I could imagine Deshaun Jackson would come up. I want to say a good 6-7 catches, probably get in the end zone, hit pay dirt. Adam Thielen, every week you could plug him in as well, 7,500. At Atlanta's 9th ranked defense, so honestly, it doesn't matter. Every week he's just been producing, so he's just a good value guy. Also, who I will be plugging in my lineup, Cooks. You got Brandon Cooks, 7,700, going up against Buffalo. He's been steady. I took him last week in my lineup as well. Put him in a couple lineups actually, and he's been at the value. Even though it's 7,700, he's hitting value. So guys, that's a pretty decent pick right there, honestly. And obviously he got the all-world Tom Brady throwing to him, so that can't hurt. And you know, they pretty spread thin at wide receiver. I mean, Amendola's there, but Hogan wasn't there last week. We'll see, you know, what the injury statuses are for these guys. I haven't really even taken a look at that yet, but I'll cover that on my Friday-Saturday video leading into Sunday, so it'll be my complete team for Sunday. But this is just my first look at the slate. So at the wide receiver position, I'm going Cooks. I'm going to go Robbie Anderson, and I'm also going to go Deshaun Jackson. So that's Cooks, Anderson, and Deshaun Jackson. A low-value pick. Leave me some money to, you know, spend around. You also, you know, another good guy, if you wanted to take a look at Devontae Adams, the only guy getting the ball in Green Bay, and he's been making the most of it. Tampa Bay is 32nd against the wide receiver #1 position. Something to look at. He's going to go in a couple of my lineups. That's for damn sure. I'm taking him. Just not in this lineup right here. He's 6,500, so not a bad pick. Also, you know, you got a Curse 4.3K going up against Kansas City, who they are terrible, obviously, guys. We know that. Now, move on to the tight end position. Up at the top, you got Travis Kelce, 24th rank, going up against the Jets. Probably the only guy I trust on that whole team. Okay, by the way, guys, do not take Kareem Hunt the rest of the year. I don't care what he does. He could put up 1,000 yards in one game. I'm done with Kareem Hunt. Took him last week. Shouldn't have took him last week in one of my lineups. It was only one lineup, but 17 yards is just terrible. I could have ran for 17 yards, guys. I'm a tall, skinny, white guy. I don't run for anything, typically. Obviously. But yeah, no. Don't take Kareem Hunt. Please, guys. Whatever you do. The only guy worth taking there is Travis Kelce. Now, moving on for my tirade against the Kansas City Chiefs. I like Jared Cook going up against the Giants. Everybody likes guys going up against the Giants. They're 32nd ranked against the tight end, 5,400, which is a little bit on the pricier side for a tight end. But the guy I'm going to be plugging in at my tight end position for this team right here, Hunter Henry, going up against Cleveland's 30th ranked against the tight end position. 4,700. Leave you a little bit of a... That's about the going rate for a decent tight end. Also in that game, you got Evan Ingram, 5,700. Oakland's 27th against the tight end, and Ingram is balling out pretty well. The only problem is they sat Eli Manning. Poor guy. You know, I don't understand that. They're going to evaluate Geno Smith. Guys, Geno Smith is not the answer. Let's just be honest. I think they're just packing it in so they could get a quarterback in one of those top 5 picks. They're nuts if they really think they're evaluating Geno Smith. That's not going to happen. They're tanking. So, guys, also another guy I like at tight end is Jack Doyle. Again, 52K. He 5.2K. Up against Jacksonville, 18th against the tight end. But they are really, really good at the wide receiver position. So Jack Doyle is going to get a lot of targets this week. He's going to be plugged into a few of my lineups. Another guy I like, Julius Thomas, 35K. 3.5K. What's up with me today, man? I need to get my life together. Going up against Denver, 29th against the tight end position. Julius Thomas is a big body guy, very athletic. I can see him getting some nice targets. You know, good red zone threat. Big guy. I like him. So, but I'm going Hunter Henry this week. Last week, yeah, 5 catches for about 70 yards and a touch. I'll take that. No problem. Now some defenses. Now, the Denver versus Miami game, you could take either one of those defenses because both of those offenses are atrocious. I like the Chargers defense going up against Cleveland. And I also like the Bears going up against San Fran. What I like to do typically, just plug in a 3K defense because I don't like to put in like too much thought and effort into like defensive teams because you're probably going to have one freakish game by one of the defenses. And if you put in too much effort into it, you're never going to predict who's going to do what. So, I mean, the Chargers versus Cleveland, you can't go wrong there. They're 4K. The Bears versus San Fran, 3.5K. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to take Denver going up against Miami for 3K, 25th ranked Miami offense. I mean, there's not much going on there. So, Denver's a safe pick. Obviously, no Aqib Talib this week. The little fight they had, if you want to call it that, it was kind of like soft punches thrown. Whatever. It's kind of like a slap fest, but whatever. Alright, guys, so there you have it. We're going to recap. I'm going McCown at quarterback. I'm going Todd Gurley. I'm going Rex Burkhead at running back position. I got Jamal Williams going to be my flex. I got Cook. I got Anderson, and I have Deshaun Jackson, all my receivers. Then at the tight end position, I am going to go Hunter Henry versus Cleveland. And defense, I'm taking Denver. So there you have it, guys. Those are my early picks, my first look at the slate. Next video will be Friday or Saturday, depending, you know, on filming and, you know, my work schedule, obviously. So that's my first look. Feel free, guys, to like, share, subscribe. I'm trying to get up to 100 subscribers by the end of next month. So if you know anybody who needs some help or, you know, you're a fan of what I'm doing, please feel free to subscribe down below. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Get the word out. I got some good picks out here, guys. So thank you for your time and have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.